If you're a builder and if you have been hearing about AI agents, then this video is for you. Watch it till the very end. And if you're unfamiliar with any programming language, you would still be able to come out, cook up an agent using Langflow as a framework, which is a completely low code framework and has all the bells and whistles that you need to stitch together an agent. Now, needless to say that if you're a power user, if you're a hardcore developer who likes to get their hands dirty, you can still do that by hitting the changing the mode from visual to code. And Langflow is a great tool. I've done a couple of more videos for Langflow, but I'm doing this conversation more from a perspective of if you are a builder who's low code, then you would be able to dive into it quickly. So before we go there, what is an agent? Right? Agents are essentially ideas, constructs, software entities, digital beings, whatever you want to call them, that can help you execute a workflow. And the workflow can use LLMs essentially to power the brain, which is, think about this. And it can connect to any database or use any API to put together a use case and execute it without being told the specific paths and all of that. So it's really that simple. And Langflow helps you take that up. The way you do is you click get started for free, you just sign into it, and what will happen is you will be taken to the data stacks platform, which is what is helping host Langflow right now. And once it comes up, I'll be able to show. And you will ideally get this view, which is Astra DB, which is the cloud native storage view, which is the database view they have. And it's a great database product, by the way. So once you kind of you'll land up with this page which is Astra DB, and if you change from Astra DB to Langflow, it'll take you back to Langflow, which is this landing page. Now what are some of the features that this guy has? You ditch the black boxes, you control all the complexities you want to, you control different parameters, you look at Python under the hood, which is all the code if you want to, if you're again a developer. It's completely visual, so you can do drag drop. You can start with the basic agent, do add API integrations, do more complex prompting, get a code debugger, do content search, use different tools, etc., etc. And you can deploy that, basically run, share, and collaborate is the idea. So you have an agent talking to completely different agent or powering some sort of a Python API, which is like, you know, it's agents powering some use cases, etc. And Langflow kind of helps you take care of everything. And if you want to bring some tools, do integration, they have tons of tools available here. So before going more theoretical, let's dive in. By the way, they have a great marketplace. You can, join them, you can publish it, and you can join a community and share your innovations and all that. They also have a very, very exhausting documentation which talks about every different kind of scenario, concepts, what are the different ideas, different tutorials, all of that. It's a great tool to understand and learn. All right, let's dive in. So you should create a new flow, click a blank flow, and that's what I've done. And this is what you get. In fact, this is not what you get. What you get is this. Yeah, you really get something like this. So this is an empty canvas. You try and make sense out of it, and it's basically a drag and drop viewer. So you go, the first component you add is agent. So you do a plus, you add an agent. I want to zoom in on a little bit, drag the agent here, and I have the agent. If you see out of the box, there are a few settings already done for me. I have an environment variable called OpenAI AI key, API key, which is already captured. I've selected a default model, and these are basis my past changes that I've made here. All right, and then what I you need to do is to begin, have a chat input, which is like a basic input. Connect the input to the input, well, and then you have an output, and output is essentially showing you the response that the LLM will generate and do this. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this is a good starting point. Here it says you are a helpful agent which can use tools to answer questions and perform tasks. I'm going to say you are a sarcastic agent which never responds nicely. The only reason is I like to test that sort of scenario. It makes sure that it's always giving me some answers. Otherwise, usually you never know that what sort of answer is coming from where. So if you make it sarcastic, it's a great way to test. It's like my print statement. So you can go to playground and you can ask it a question, and what will happen is playground will be like a chat. It should just be it should be up. Sometimes the platform has few glitches. It's running probably under some sort of a free mode. You might have to reload, etc., etc. Yeah. So you go to the playground, and yeah, this is my previous scenario. I'll ask it. Last time it says told to me, oh sure, I'll pull out my crystal ball and give you a dedicated account of everything happened in the world right now. But seriously, the world is a big place. Blah blah blah. Just trying to be sarcastic. Now I'm running it again. I don't know the kind of response I'm going to get. But again, the prompt has been similar. I've asked it to be sarcastic, and it's gonna run the flow. Sometimes you do get errors with Langflow, like network error or timeout error or something like that. Yeah, so it still gives you a network error, which is just sometimes weird. There are usually no network glitches, but you try it once in a while again, it'll start to work up. Let's see if it works second time. This is very, very common with Langflow, to be honest. I've had this on so many different occasions that I've lost count. Yeah, okay, you got it. I did not make a change. Sure. Again, it gave me a similar response, or this response was more recent, took 10 seconds. You really want to die, blah blah blah, something like this. So that's not the most important part. Now, what you have is the outline or skeleton of an agent. What you have is now to add to this are different set of elements, different set of prompts. Like you can add a prompt here, create a prompt with dynamic variables. You can take this, pass it into the assistant, and basically here you can have a lot of prompting important parameters. Here you can do something like a variable name, and variables can be popped from different places. To add to this, every component has something like a controls. If you go to controls, you'll see much more additional and advanced option. Like this is more precise, this is more creative. There's tons of options to choose from. On top of it, you go to code, and it will literally give you all the basic functionalities that it takes, all the components that this UI is using and rendering and things like that. So it will do that, and this is available in all the modes. Like if you have a prompt mode, every component will have a dedicated control option. Some of them might be more longer, some of them shorter, having more additional parameters and whatnot. So this becomes like a way to externalize the prompt. This is a chat input, and this is an agent. Now, probably another point that comes up is how do I consume it? So the path is easy. You click on API, and you can literally have the entire Python code that you want, or you can have some sort of a curl endpoint, and you can still work with it. You can pass some tweaks like what are the parameters the agents has, things like that. But this is very straightforward. The moment you generate token, it's gonna give you a token, and you should just be able to work with as an API. So all of this is like literally saying live deployed. Like you are operating within that environment. You will consume this, and that's it. It becomes like a project. What additional things can you do here at this point in time, right? This is where the fun starts. Once you have nailed the input, output, and prompts, you have access to different categories of data. And this is what we say is what powers the most important paths to an agent. You have an API request. For instance, you add a component called API request, and this needs to connect to a data path. So, and you don't have that in agent, you probably need to have it as a output or something. I don't know, or maybe it's in some tool. But you can put an API, you can select the method, and you can set some parameters, you can set curl, you can set some authentication headers, body, etc. So it's like a complete postman, or like a postman scan option. And then in data, you have different components, like you can have a directory, file, SQL, URL. You go to processing, you can see a wide variety of text processing options available. You have something like a very interesting option, LLM router. This can take uh, a multiple scenario where there's a LLM, different sort of LLMs options configured. For instance, if you go to models and you say I want a bedrock model, so you can connect The output is a language model. You can connect a language model here. You can connect, let's say, judge LLM, which is a very interesting paradigm. You can have the input coming here, and you can have the selected model as being fed somewhere here. Like this should, this is the message. Where does it go? One of these two. Okay, it went to the output. So this is receiving the LLM input from here, and maybe the model name and parameters have to be adjusted. So a lot of additional paths are possible using here, and the paths are completely dependent on the scenario you're doing. So there's option to add data, there's option to add model, there's option to add input output, and then everything else is slightly more advanced. The only part which I want to cover in this video, and I see it's already 10 minutes long, is the tools part. You can have a wide variety of tools available, and tools essentially are things that can help the agent work better. So it can be a database connection or a search API or a simple thing as calculator. So you have a simple arithmetic expression, and it can be some sort of a math. I don't know how it works. 2 plus 2 is equal to something. I don't. It could be just arithmetic operations on a given fly. This becomes like, I don't know where this goes. This goes to tool. Yeah. Uh, should go to tool or some expression calculator. I'm not too sure about it, but then this can help you stitch together flows. Maybe I'll try and show one tool that can be hooked on. So I'll try to use Tavily AI search, which is a tool which I have used in the past, and this should okay, interesting. Usually the tool part is very straightforward. I'm not sure why this is. There are have some been some changes. It seems I'm not able to associate a tool here, and usually this is not the case. Should be some other tool. No. Wow, this is embarrassing. In most of my previous components, like I have some other elements. I'm just gonna switch back and see in my previous flows how they have done it, because I remember it pretty well that this was designed with tools. Hmm. Oh shoot! It came and I clicked refresh. Yeah, see this? So I've had a lot of tools here, like for example, Tavily. I said, okay, there are some updates that probably they have made. So this used to be tools here, and now I think if I update all, there are some changes coming up in this. So they've done a little bit of structural upgrades, which seems to have adjusted the way connections work. Yeah, you see this connection broke, and now I should connect this again back with tools. It's still a tool. Yeah, okay, am I able to associate a tool? So it's the same thing. You have an agent. I don't know why it was not working there, but here I have a more complex setup. I've talked about this in the previous one. But the idea is not to show an overwhelming component, but rather show something, you know, which is more usable. So I'll remove this, and search query is test, and text should not go here. This ideally should be tool. I don't know why this is. I should. Oh, I can. Got it. I can make it a tool mode and connect. Yeah. So previously it was more becoming like a fixed search. Now I have to make it like it had now receiving tool from the agent. So I have to change the prompt and operate it like that. There have been some instructional or visual changes in the way connections work and all of that. So yeah, this is Langflow, and the idea of this conversation of the past 15 minutes was to just show you how things can progress, how easy they are, and as you build more complex scenarios, right? I suggest you what you do is, if you're building it, go to a new flow, look at a template, and pick like a relatively straightforward template, like some sort of a maybe travel planning agent, right? And there might be a lot of different agentic setup here. And once you evaluate something like this, you should be able to be on your journey of building agents. All right. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.